These are corrupt people. These are people that shouldn't be allowed to do the things they do. And they're using this as weaponization against a political opponent who's up a lot in the polls.
Former President Donald Trump speaks out after a judge orders him to pay nearly $355 million in his New York civil fraud case.
He's also barred from serving in any top roles in a New York company, including his own. Trump says he will appeal that ruling. Let's turn now to South Florida criminal defense attorney and former Department of Justice senior trial attorney Richard Serafini. Richard, his son's also impacted. So walk us through what this ruling means.
There are a couple aspects to the ruling. The first is that he is enjoined from further violations of law. Court granted the injunction. The next part is, and it's the big part that everyone's talking about, is the disgorgement figure. And the disgorgement figure is roughly, I think, $355 million. When you add interest into that, because it was the disgorgement plus interest, you have a figure of over $400 million. Then on top of that, you have the bar that prevents him from operating real estate concerns and companies in the state of New York for 3 years. You also have for lack of a better word, the receiver who had been put in charge of the companies will remain in charge for at least 3 years. And then there's also a provision that puts in a compliance officer to monitor and make sure that the company is complying with all the rules and applicable regulations.
And Richard, Donald Trump is expected to face 4 other criminal trials, including one here in Florida, all while he's running for re-election. So what happens next for him?
Well, the next step in this case, where the decision came down today, is that he will most likely appeal. He will have to file an appeal bond. That would be either post the money with the court or post a building of significant value that, should he lose the appeal, that there will be money there to pay the disgorgement of better than $400 million. He's got a criminal case that is set for trial in New York. That's the hush money case on March 25th. And we are waiting now to see what happens in the Washington case, where there's been a petition to the Supreme Court for a stay, been responded to by the special counsel, and we could potentially get a decision from the Supreme Court on the stay in a short period of time, or it's the Supreme Court. They could take as long as they want. And then, of course, you have what's going on in Georgia with that case a little bit up in the air because of the hearing to disqualify the DA and effectively her entire office. And then we're a little bit, there's pretrial issues going on and hearings here in Florida as to how to handle evidence, and that's in a little bit of a holding position. So that's where we stand. We have one case that is definitely set for trial and is most likely to go next month. The Washington case may go, potentially could go relatively soon thereafter. The Atlanta case will probably not go before the election, and we'll have to wait and see with the Florida case.
Yeah, still so many uncertainties ahead for the former president. Richard, thank you for joining us this evening.
You're welcome.